Hi everyone, I'm Becky and I'm an oral cancer survivor. I'm assuming that you're watching this video because you or someone that you love was recently diagnosed with this little bit of fun. And that's kind of what it is a little bit of fun. You probably have a lot of questions about what things are going to look like afterwards and how you're going to sound and are you going to be able to talk okay and are things going to be alright? We all had those questions and they're pretty good questions. So I think it's a brilliant idea that Gloria had to put all this together so that other people can kind of see and get an idea of how things turned out for those of us that have been there and done that. So I guess I'll do a little bit of show and tell. As you can see on my profile, I had the left side of my tongue removed because that's where my tumor was. They replaced it with tissue from my arm, so let me see if I can show you that real quick. So they took it from right here, and I got lucky, and they tried something new with me where they pulled this top of the skin layer back and took out the tissue and then put it back down. So I didn't have to have a graft here. This line is from when they took the artery in the vein so that the tissue would have a blood supply once they put it in my mouth. I thought that was kind of cool, personally, that they could do all of that. Then I had a left neck dissection, so that's over here on this side. They did a really good job, I think, of hiding the scar in a natural skin fold in my neck. I think eventually it'll be less noticeable. I still have a fair amount of lymphedema right here, which is not all that fun. But the lymphedema specialist that I saw and my surgeon both said that eventually that will go away. It's been 11 months since I had my surgery, but it's only been 8 months since I finished my chemo and my radiation. So I guess I just have to keep on being patient and do what they tell me to do, and eventually we'll get there. At the end of my surgery, they did have to place a trach because of all of the post-op swelling in my mouth. I couldn't breathe on my own because of all of that. So that's right here. It used to be bigger than this, but I had my flap, which is what they call this part, the tissue that they take and replace what they took out with. So I had that revised about 4.5 weeks ago so that I could talk better. And I'm also a pretty avid flute player, and that was kind of difficult before. So I thought that doing a revision would help me be able to get back to flute playing as well. And I would have to say that was a huge success. Absolutely huge. People don't ask me to repeat myself quite as much anymore, which I think is just awesome. I'm so excited. It's just really, really great. I can't believe they did that. Oh, but I was saying, the trach scar used to be bigger, but when they did the revision, they offered to fix it for me, and so they did that, and that was great. The revision, unfortunately, involved doing the skin graft that I avoided in my first surgery because of the way that they did my arm originally. So I did end up being the lucky recipient of a skin graft. That didn't feel so great for about the first 2 weeks, but then it got a lot better, and now everything is fine, and I don't even know it's there, as far as the graft donor site goes. So they had to have something to cover the deficit when he cut underneath my flap to release it so that my tongue could move around better, and so that's why they had to do the skin graft. I did get laser on all of this stuff, and I still get laser scar treatment, so that's really helped out a lot. It helped decrease the redness and everything, so that's pretty cool. So that's kind of where I'm at. Looking forward to being 1 year post here in another month, and and things are looking good. We're moving on. So, and that's the most important part in this whole thing, is to do the best you can and get yourself through it, and carry on. So, I've been back at work for the last 7 months, minus a week I took off for the revision, and that's going really well. And my husband and I had a very fun first year of marriage, since I got diagnosed about 3 months after we got married. But if you can survive that, you can survive anything. So that's going well, and like I said, my speech is a lot better, and I'm back to my flute playing. It's going to take a little bit of work to get back to where I was before, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about that a whole lot like I used to be. So I think some of the things that kind of helped me get through all of this were my one friend who has actually had pancreatic cancer twice and is perfectly fine. I got a lot of tips and insight from her, which I can't thank her enough for. One of the things that she did say to me when I first got diagnosed was that there's nothing like being diagnosed with cancer to give you an opportunity to cut out everything negative in your life. And thankfully I didn't have to actually cut out all of that much. But I did come to realize how much people actually cared about us and about me. And especially at work, like I really had no idea that people actually cared quite that much. It was very overwhelming, actually. And I still can't believe the amount of support that we've gotten from everyone through this whole process, even up until today. So definitely couldn't have done it without all those people, and our family and friends, and of course my husband, who was just phenomenal through this whole thing. Oh my goodness, I really don't know what I would have done without him. I found it helpful, for me at least. I'm pretty open about this whole thing, and I found that it really worked well to send out email updates, or if you want to do one of the cancer websites where you can like set up a profile and write updates and stuff like that through there, you could do that too. But I just found that giving regular updates really helped alleviate any gossip that might have gone around about what was going on and how I was doing and all that kind of stuff. So, people wrote back all the time and were like, yeah, go you know, and just all this positive stuff. And that was really helpful to see all the responses that people sent, and just to know that everybody was filled in, and so that's what worked best for us and for me. I would say another thing that helped me a lot is to kind of develop a little bit of humor and just try to stay in fighting mode. There are some things that I guess people who haven't had cancer but think are kind of morbid, but some things you just have to joke about. So I remember one of my favorite ones is that the first night that I had, after the first day that I had had radiation, when we were going to bed and my husband turned off the light, I was like, so, do I go in the dark? Can you see me? And that was absolutely hilarious and kind of became an ongoing joke as we progressed through radiation. And at the end, I even told my radiation oncologist, I was like, I still don't go in the dark to give you all this radiation, and I don't go in the dark. I think I should have something to show for this. And I thought that was pretty funny. So that was a good time. So I think just little things kind of like that could kind of help make light of a difficult situation. And another thing that I did is that even though right before I went home and we got the final pathology for my surgery, And my surgeon came in and said that he had gotten it all and it was all gone, and I had come, even though I'd come into the hospital with cancer, I was leaving the hospital without cancer, that I was still needing chemo and radiation as kind of like my insurance policy to make sure that it doesn't come back. And I made a promise to myself that no matter how bad I felt or how much I didn't want to go to treatment on whatever day, that I wasn't going to ever say that I didn't want to go. Because going equals my insurance policy equals a smaller chance of it ever coming back. And it is not welcome to ever come back, ever again. One time was more than plenty. Thank you very much. So every day I just looked forward to checking one more treatment off the list and getting closer to today and to every day in the future, where my husband and I can enjoy our life together and maybe have some children along the way. And I have every intention of having my full lifespan and enjoying what I'm doing. So that was one thing that I feel like was really good in the back of my mind. And yeah, so I would say just do your best to keep your fighting attitude and your positive attitude. Granted, everybody has their day and everybody has their moment. It's perfectly okay to have your moment. I've had plenty of them myself, and I'm sure there will be more in the future at some point, because they do kind of randomly creep up on you every now and then. But if you try to keep this overall positiveness, then I feel like that really helps a lot. So that would be my one piece of advice. Also, make sure to ask all your questions. There's no stupid question. I kind of like to keep my doctors on their toes. We also kind of make a joke out of that. It's pretty fun. And get through this so that you can join the ranks of those of us that have survived this and have gotten on with our lives, and hope to see your own profile on this page someday soon and a video of your own. And in the meantime, I wish you the very best of luck and take care.